Shalom, how's everyone doing? Today's day 25 of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we'll be learning Siman Seif Aleph. Okay, let's get into it. Yargil es atzmo lefanos es atzmo erev v'voker. A person should accustom himself to go to the bathroom evening and morning. Okay, before we start the Siman, we have to understand we're talking about halachas of going to the bathroom, and there's two things people could do in the bathroom, right? As the Kitzur is going to say, there's lefanos and there's lahashtin. So lefanos means going number 2. Lahashtim means going number 1. From now on, we'll call going number 1 as going ketanim, going number 2 as going gedolim. Okay. So he's saying that a person should accustom himself to go gedolim at night and in the morning. Why? Shuz rizus and akiyas. Right? That's the way of being azaras, of being like very prepared, unikiyas, and being clean. Imeno yachol lipanos, if he's not able to, yelech arba amos, and he should walk 4 amos v'yeshev, and then he should sit down, v'yamod v'yeshev ad sheyiponeh. And he should stand up and he should sit down until he is able to relieve himself. Or he shouldn't think about anything else, he should just think about using the bathroom, and that will help. Somebody who withholds himself from going to the bathroom, over mishum bal teshaktsu. He's over on the isser of making himself disgusting. If he holds himself from not going ketanim when he needs to, over gamishum lo yevachakar. You shouldn't make yourself somebody who's not able to have kids. The Gemara assumes that if somebody withholds himself from going ketanim for too long of a period, it will actually hinder his ability to have children. Okay. Fine. So the first thing the Kitzur says here, he says a person should relieve himself in the morning and at night. So why does he say that? So this is actually Gemara Maseches Brachos. This is on Daf Samech Beis. The Gemara says as follows: Samech Beis Min Aleph Brachos. Amar Rav Yehuda Morav. A person should accustom himself to use the bathroom in the morning and at night, in order that he doesn't have to distance himself from people. What's it talking about, distance himself from people? So it used to be, back in the day, they didn't really have like bathrooms, right? They didn't. So how would they use the bathroom? So there's actually various halachos. You're not allowed to use the bathroom, at least to go gedolim, in front of other people. So they'd have to go like out in the field, and it took a lot of time. Therefore, the Gemara recommends that there's an even better idea. Just go to the bathroom in the street when nobody's around, right? Nobody's around in the morning and at night, right? The early morning, late at night. That's why the Gemara then says, like, that's Rava would do. Rava, he would just go to the bathroom at night, and he would say, put a hole for me in the street, and I'll use the bathroom right here. That's why the Gemara says that a person should accustom himself from going to the bathroom morning and night. Therefore, he won't have to go to the bathroom during the day, so he won't have to distance himself from people. So the question is, we have bathrooms very close to us, so maybe this idea of going to the bathroom at morning and night falls away. And the Kesef Mishnah seems to say that. The Kesef Mishnah says this is Dafka talking about the times of the Gemara when they would have to go out to the fields. They'd have to go very far to use the bathroom, but it doesn't apply to us. However, the Ramah does bring it down, and the Pri Megadim points out, and he says, this is how a person, keeps himself clean by going to the bathroom in the morning and at night. And certainly, when you wake up, you're about to daven, and as we'll learn in Hilchas Tefillah, there's an added element about going to the bathroom before davening. Therefore, he says we should still keep this din. Okay, that's the first part. The second part, the Kitzur introduces the Isra of Bal Teshaktsu. So there's another Gemara. There's the Gemara Maseches Makos. The Gemara says as follows: Amar Rav Achai, Hamashes nekavav over mishum lo teshaktsu. Somebody who withholds himself from going to the bathroom is over on the Isra of making himself disgusting. Amar Rav Bibi Bar Abaye, Haiman teshasi v'karna de'umna. Somebody who drinks from a horn that was used for bloodletting, ka'avar mishum lo teshaktsu, is also over on the Isser to make oneself disgusting, right? This is a pasuk. The pasuk says that somebody who eats bugs makes himself disgusting, right? That's what the Gemara is talking about. That's what the pasuk's talking about in the Torah. But the Gemara adds, the pasuk's also talking about doing other disgusting things that would also be the Isser. But whenever we have an Isser, we have to ask ourselves: is this an Isser d'oraisa or an Isser d'rabbanan? So pasha pshat, it's an Isser d'oraisa, right? The pasuk says lo teshaktsu, don't make yourself disgusting. However, as the Torah notes, if you look in the Rambam writes, if somebody does something disgusting, he doesn't get malchus. he gets something called Makas Mardus, which is the Rabbanan administer the Malkus, but it's not Malkus D'Oraisa. Therefore, the Beis Yosef points out that it seems like from the Rambam that this Isser of Bal Tishaksu is only an Isser D'Rabbanan. So the question is why? Don't we have a pasuk? So the Prisha explains. The Prisha says no. That even though there's a pasuk of Bal Tishaksu, that pasuk is talking about eating bugs, right? So the D'Oraisa idea is that you're not allowed to eat bugs. That's the D'Oraisa. But the Rabbanan saw this pasuk of Bal Tishaksu. They added other things, but those other things are only going to be on a level of D'Rabbanan. Who disagrees with this? The Taz. The Taz says no. Bal Tishaksu is a real Isser D'Oraisa. Not going to the bathroom you have to is an Isser D'Oraisa. So why does the Rambam hold you don't get Malkus? Another reason. What's the reason? It's because it's something called a Lav Shebecholos. If you have an Isser D'Oraisa based on a pasuk, but the pasuk includes other Isuri D'Oraisa, there is no Malkus, right? It's a Lav Shebecholos. So that's why the Taz thinks it actually is a D'Oraisa. How do we hold? So it's Mefurish in the Ritva and Maseches Malkus, Mefurish in the Meiri, that holding oneself from going to the bathroom is only an Isser D'Rabbanan. The Shulchan Aruch, Pri Megadim, Mishpura, they all say this Pshitas, that it's only an Isser D'Rabbanan. Why do we care that it's only an Isser D'Rabbanan? For the case as follows. There's an idea called Kavod Abrius, that if there's a time that because of human dignity it will be like embarrassing for somebody to do something, sometimes we forgo D'Rabbanan. It's like the Gemara Bracha says. The Gemara Bracha says that if you're walking down the street, you find out you're wearing shanis. Shanis is an Isser D'Oraisa. You have to take off your garment even in the middle of the street. You have to embarrass yourself to not be over on the Isser D'Oraisa. If it's only an Isser D'Rabbanan though, we would say you could keep your clothes on. We don't want somebody to embarrass themselves based off an Isser D'Rabbanan. The Rabbanan, they don't make you embarrass yourself to keep their Isur. So that's why if you look at the Mishnah Berurah gives an example of when it might be, embarrassing. Let's say somebody's giving a shiur or somebody, is doing something and it's embarrassing to, go up and have to use the bathroom. So therefore we would probably say Kavod Abrius is Zocha the D'Rabbanan of Bal Tishaksu. Right? Another case, let's say like you're driving in a car and then you feel an urge to go to the bathroom. Do you have to stop at the side of the road? If it was a real Isser D'Oraisa, you have to stop on the side of the road to use the bathroom. But since it's only going to be an Isser D'Rabbanan, we say due to Kavod Abrius, we will allow you to drive till you find a bathroom maybe. But the question we have to ask ourselves, when are you over? When are you over in that? What is the getter of Bal Tishaksu? Anytime you have the little urge to use the bathroom, you have to go and use it right away, and if not, you're over on Bal Tishaksu. Could that be? So I don't think so. If you look at the Rama, Siman Sadi Beis, first the Shulchan Aruch brings down the case. What's the case of the Shulchan Aruch? The case of the Shulchan Aruch is, let's say somebody's in the middle of Shemona Esrei, and in the middle of Shemona Esrei, he feels the urge to use the bathroom. And the halacha is, he finishes Shemona Esrei, he uses the bathroom after. So the Rama asks, the Rama says, isn't it Bal Tishaksu? So the Rama says, it's talking about a case where it's not Bal Tishaksu. He has a little urge to use the bathroom, but it's not Bal Tishaksu yet. So obviously we see clear from the Rama, any little urge to use the bathroom is not Bal Tishaksu, right? The Rama says if it's Taka Bal Tishaksu, then you would use it during Shemona Esrei. So what's the getter? What is considered Bal Tishaksu? So it's interesting if you look at the Rishonim for sure, even in the Achronim, they don't really say. And the Piskei Teshuvos, the Sefer Piskei Teshuvos in Siman Sadi Beis, he explains why they don't really talk about it. He says, as we explained before, they didn't really have bathrooms. So they would schedule their eating, they would schedule their bathroom trips based on, when they knew they would have a bathroom. So they would accustom themselves to use the bathroom in the early morning and at night, maybe once during the day. But they knew exactly when they were going to use the bathroom. They were able to schedule their bodies that they knew for sure when they'd be able to use the bathroom, so they would be able to get to a bathroom in time. He says nowadays, people just, since we have bathrooms all around us, we don't have to prepare our meals. Okay, I know I'm going to have a bathroom then, I'm going to eat this thing then. So he says, it's very different. It's very different. But what he does point out, he says it's clear from what they did back in the day that any little urge they had, they wouldn't use the bathroom, right? Because they scheduled their trips to the bathroom when they knew they would have a real urge. But does anybody talk about a getter? So I find two places. One is the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Shulchan Aruch Harav in Siman Gimel, he says as follows. He says, Ein Bal Tishaksu calls man she'eno nitzrach u'mishave harbe. It's only Bal Tishaksu if you really need it. What does it mean to really need it? Be'inyan she'ilu lo haya ma min asma b'koach Umagbir koach hamatzlik al koach doche. Haya koach hadoche gomer elav. Basically what he's saying is that if you're actively holding it in, and if you wouldn't actively hold it in or just all come out, that's Baal Tishaksu. Baal Tishaksu is when you're on the last, when you really have to hold it in, and if you know it's going to come out. That's what Baal Tishaksu is. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. Another one of the Achronim who gives the getter of what Baal Tishaksu is the Ishal of Rami Batshash. And he writes, first he says, if you could just be Mesiach Das, if you could just think about other things, and you would kind of forget that you need the bathroom, that's for sure not Baal Tishaksu. Nobody's going to say that's Baal Tishaksu. When is it? If you can't get your mind off it, right? If you really, really have to use the bathroom, you can't get your mind off it, that is going to be Baal Tishaksu. Okay? Shkoyach.